Predictions and picks, we make them live. Wrestling story sure to thrive with passion and love for the ring. So much fun this show will bring. From the high flyers to the heavyweights, we got opinions that won't wait. Join us every Tuesday night live for a podcast that will revive. NXT on tap is the place to be. Tune in with us on commentary. We're talking about the wrestlers glowing bright and be Richie Scales all night.
Hey everybody, welcome back to NXT on Tap. I know we have been gone for a little bit, but let's get back into it. How are we doing tonight, Richie?
Doing phenomenal. NXT has been very consistent. We took a little break ski, but now we're back and better than ever.
Yeah, you've had a solid show tonight. You had we have a title match coming up for the North American Championship with Shawn Spears and Ricky Saints. Had some good qualifying matches for Stand and Deliver for the Women's North American Championship. So overall, I'd say it's been pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good building show. We forward some stories that we're going to get into a little bit later. And overall, it's looking to be another solid edition of NXT as long as the main event holds up. And I can't really see them really being destroyed in that aspect. So we'll see what happens as across my screen we have Sol Ruka, Zarya, and Kalani Jordan.
Oop.
Oh.
There you go. There's a new name for them, Zaruka.
Yeah, we're a couple steps closer to the dream. And we got Dark State with their X promos.
Ooh, they're talking about having a match.
Who will step up to them? We will find out. So next week, that's when that match is happening. It's going to be Oba, Javon, and Trick versus Dark State in a 6-man tag match.
Typical, can they coexist?
I'm sure Dark State will coexist. What are you talking about, Scouse?
Ooh, and Jada versus Jordan Grace.
A lot of good stuff coming.
I think that's for the number one contendership.
Wouldn't be surprised. Well, enough of that. We have a Saint entering the NXT arena. Big championship matchup. We got about 15 minutes. Do you think they could squeeze in a good one for us in that amount of time?
Yeah, I think they can. They'll probably have, about 12 minutes, I would say, once they do the entrances and everything.
Yeah. Maybe 11 because of the in-ring introductions.
Mm-hmm. I've liked his time so far in NXT.
Yeah, it's pretty nice, pretty dope.
I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, he's boring," everything else, but
Who don't they say that about?
they also want something to happen like right away. Like
Well, yeah.
a lot of people are very impatient.
Nah, really?
I'm liking this group though.
Yeah, it's slowly growing on me.
I didn't think Izzy Dane would be a good fit in there, but she's actually done pretty well.
Yeah, so far so good. There we go. North American Championship.
It's one of my favorite belts.
It's a very nice looking championship.
I think I just like the red.
The red, like it's not like just like red, but like the dark red. It's not like the Universal Championship red.
Jackson, Will making fun of it, saying "Welcome to Tuesday Night Rampage."
Well, I mean, what are they doing in the Impact Zone? You know what I mean?
Ricky Starks versus Shawn Spears for the TNT title. Did they have a red version of the TNT title?
Yes, that was the one that was retired with Brody Lee.
It was a red strap, or the coloring was just the red.
Red strap.
So nice to see the guys from Dark making it.
Listen, sometimes you root for everybody. Gotta keep his name. That's Ricky Starks doing one of his signatures on the. That's him. Oh god, what do you call it? The barricade. There we go. That's the word.
What's up, Wheels?
How we doing, MJ? How we doing?
Oh, we got the non-stop NXT picture-in-picture again.
You know what? Better picture in picture than anything else.
Excalibur sounds really different tonight.
What do I know? It's not my company, not my problem.
You think we get any interference in this match?
I think we see Ethan Page.
I did see that in the chat that you got blocked by Nikki Lyons. It's an accomplishment.
Yeah, I don't really care.
Shows how soft she is.
Yeah.
She really doesn't. She doesn't deserve the ego that she thinks she has.
You could say that about a lot of people.
You can. You're right. You're absolutely right on that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong there. You're not wrong there at all. Doesn't help that you have people simping over her and hyping her up.
I'm not gonna rap, so I'm not gonna judge anybody's rapping.
Strong Spears is still in control during the commercial break,
Yeah.
imitating Ricky Saints.
As one does.
Man, Jax, that's rough.
Jeez.
See, that's what Wheels misses when I'm not in the chat with them.
Oh, is that it?
I torment him.
Oh,
He,
that's not.
he knows it's a loving one.
Ah, okay. I'm just saying, MJ, I hope you got your card ready. I got my card ready. Again, Dream Warfare. No restrictions, no rules, just 8 best matches you could think of and you want to see. So we'll see how it pans out.
When is that?
That is this Friday. 7:30, I believe.
So right before SmackDown?
Right before SmackDown, which is good because I'm not sitting 3 hours through it, Scales. I can't do it. You can't make me. You can't make me sit 3 hours of SmackDown. Don't make me do it. Please don't make me do it. I'd do anything. I'll do anything, please.
We'll have to see. I think it's going to be different now that it's back in the States, though.
Yeah, mostly because I feel like when they were overseas, it was like, all right, we could kind of like not saying it's like, oh, you can't have fun, but it's like it felt like more relaxed. And I feel like on the road to WrestleMania, people are like trying to be on the edge of their seat, being like,
Mhm.
what's gonna happen? What are we gonna do? You know, and then it's like XYZ, and then soon before you know it, everybody is seemingly filled to the brim.
Yeah, with three SmackDowns left before Mania,
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to start to see more build taking place. And like I said, I think we're going to get back. We're going to get the Wyatt Six back.
That'd be pretty neat.
And we know we are getting Rey Fenix this week.
That is correct.
I wonder when we see Aleister Black.
Well, his latest segment was a 4 and a 25 in there.
So the Friday after Mania.
Potentially. Oof. Top rope jackhammer. And my audio cut there, so I assume the fans were chanting something that
They should not be showing on TV.
showed their excitement.
Well, at least it's not like Fox where they black out the whole screen to block the sound.
Oh, you know.
And we got Wesley versus Inamura next week. That should be a good
Mhm.
match.
And then we have the Dark State debut, the Can They Coexist tag team match. Do you think the Can They Coexist tag team match should be like an official stipulation?
They
Because they
use
do,
it every single time.
because they use it quite a bit. I mean, we had one yesterday on Raw with Braun and Penta,
Oh yeah, we
and
did.
to a
I didn't even
certain
think of that.
yeah, to a certain extent, Finn and Dom too. But as Finn says, brothers fight all the time like cats and dogs. Not sure about my brother and I. We didn't fight like that. I don't even have a brother.
Me and my brothers, they did. Yes.
Ooh. Ooh. Not spoiling that for you.
Ooh, kicked out of that.
Yeah.
I don't know how he kicked out of that. I really don't.
Well, it's easy. He just lifted his shoulder up.
Damn it.
All right, we're gonna see how or if Ricky can recover from this. Nope, looking for the C4 right here. Oh, oh boy.
Almost like an attitude adjustment.
Yeah, that's the C4. Just do a little twisty thingamajig, and then you're all set.
Ricky's just like, destroying everybody.
Yeah. Oh. Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that.
Was not expecting that at all.
Look at that.
Interesting. Very interesting. I wonder why they did that.
Ooh, there we go.
And there it is. Yeah.
There's our next title program for the North American Championship. What an end to Rampage. I mean, NXT.
Oh, Jax, you got warned by the Nightbot for too many caps. I can't believe they did that though.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. Talk about
Kind of
change.
weak.
See what happens with those AEW stars just getting titles right away after leaving the company.
I think that's kind of weak though. Like that made Sean Spears' run with the North American Championship almost meaningless.
I mean, he was always going to be a transitional champion.
But surprising end to NXT.
All right. So you want to get into it?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So what do you want to start off with first? Do you want to start off with the announcement that Stephanie Vicker had to vacate the North American Women's Championship, and
Yeah.
now that's going to be a six-woman ladder match at Stand and Deliver? Now, do you think that was an anticlimactic way for Stephanie two belts to end?
So I felt that they should have allowed her to lose the belt, but then that would also hurt her with the NXT Championship as well. So
Mhm.
the only real way to keep her as strong as the way she is to do what they did.
Right. Similar to what they
So
did with Keith Lee as well when he
correct.
had both
Yep.
championships.
So it's
Now,
not it doesn't make her look weak or anything. I think it's the right move for her to do.
mhm,
Um, I just wish that they would have had Ava would have let her announce it as opposed to Ava saying it. That's
right.
all I would have done differently.
Mhm. Do you think it's because of them just wanting it to be a little bit clear across?
I think so.
Because I know Stephanie said one of the major things and decisions for her being on NXT is to improve her English. And do you think that's why Ava was in the ring doing most of the talking?
Yeah.
And the
Well, you
decision, Hmm?
you could see that she's getting a lot better
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
her English, and she's getting more comfortable. And she even said that when she went and did the interview with Bully Ray on Busted Open Radio.
Yeah, and everybody likes listening to Bully Ray, right?
I enjoy it.
But yeah, we have the six-woman ladder match, and they've done this with the North American Championships in the past before. Do you think that's a good move considering the depth of the talent pool, or would you have liked to seen a different match, or what are you thinking?
I'm okay with it in regards to I think this is like the staple of the North American Championship, whether it's
Hmm.
for the men or the women.
Right.
'Cause that's how they won. That's how the first woman was crowned as well. First
Hmm.
women's champion. So it's a good callback to that one too.
Right. And I again, like we mentioned before when we're on the TikTok. I sound like an old person, but it's the TikTok to me. Uh, The women's division on NXT is extremely deep. You have a bunch of talented ladies. We had two people who qualified for that ladder match, and we had Zarya defeating Lash Legend, and we had Kalani Jordan defeating Roxanne Perez. Now, how do you feel about these two moving on? And a follow up question: do you think two losers will be in a losers bracket type scenario for the final spot?
So it's all going to depend on who the 5 losers are.
Hmm.
If they're going to go that route with the um, best of the worst, so to
Hmm.
speak,
Right.
with the fighting their way into the last spot. Um, I am happy with the 2 that they chose tonight. I
Hmm.
think Zarya is probably going to be one of the odds-on favorites to walk out with the Women's North American Championship. I think
Agreed.
that's a great first belt for her to have,
Hmm.
and it's definitely going to put a little wedge in between her and Soruka,
Hmm.
unfortunately.
I'm kind of the other way. I think they might do the tag team thing where it's like one has the championship and the other one's support for a little bit, and then while they're still tag team. So it's like because I like Shawn Michaels, he does like to do storylines that he did in the past. Shockingly, I know. But I do think there's still some mileage out there. It is an odd couple tag team, but I feel like there's still legs with that story.
Yeah, I think there's still a lot to go with that one.
Mm. And again, we still need to see, at least now, we got to see uh, who the other people who are qualifying for. Like we mentioned Zario, we mentioned Kalani Jordan, and again we got 4 spots left to fill, and we got a lot of potential contenders. So I can't wait to see what happens in regards to that.
The only one that we know that is going for it is Soruka. That's the only one that they have really announced that said she is having a match next week.
hmm
So, um, I'm trying to think of who else could be. We might see, like we were talking about earlier, Carmen Petrovic as a contender, Lola
hmm
Vice, Cora Jade, Fallon Henley,
Thea Hill potentially.
Thea Hale. She did post on Twitter that she with the eye emoji saying, So it would be nice to see her back.
Yeah, especially after the bankruptcy of Chase U. Is that the proper term for the school system, or is it it's not bankruptcy, it's something else. But that's neither here nor there. But long story short, we got a lot of contenders to look forward to, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, the women's division is stacked in NXT. Probably one of the I would say most stacked out of any of the companies,
hmm And this
even with
is
regular WWE.
Yeah, and it's really and NXT has like a great system in just how they rotate talent, in my opinion. And I think it's the same with the women. You're always getting featured women matches, and there are some NXT shows where they just load up and it's like pretty much women's night, and it's like it doesn't feel out of place at all, which shows the great rotation that Shawn Michaels has and the great mind and the great characters that you have on NXT currently.
hmm
We also had Hank and Tank versus the No Quarter Catch Crew, with Hank and Tank continuing their story about trying to be a better tag team, this time cosmetically. Well, they were with Pretty Deadly when last week they were with the Motor City Machine Guns. So we had a nice little like backstage segment, and they were also with Fraxium, the NXT Tag Team Champions, who are indeed fine. But how do you feel about the Hank and Tank story we have going on?
I like Hank and Tank.
Mhm.
I like to see them in the title picture. I'd actually want to see them win the championship. I know they lost tonight
Mhm.
against Ren QCC,
Mhm.
but I think they still have a chance. I think we're going to get, if we don't get the Hardys versus Fraxium at Stand and Deliver,
Mhm.
I could see us getting a fatal 4-way.
Mm,
And I think that's how the belts get taken off of Fraxium, by not having them having somebody else get pinned.
that'd be interesting. Do you think Fraxium then get called up to the main roster at that point?
I could see that. Yep.
What brand would you put them on?
SmackDown, because that's the better tag division.
I would put them on Raw because you gotta have some help on there. Some attractions. While
I know,
also,
but I want
we
Motor
also
City
got
Machine Guns versus
okay.
Fraxium.
You gotta remember, Scales. We also have a draft coming up, and I'm not talking about opening the window for that breeze.
hmm
So it's like something to keep in mind. Plus, I want to see like Fraxium on Netflix. It just sounds right. And then
I don't care what brand it is. I want Motor City Machine Guns versus Fraxium.
Mhm. Yep, we also had a Jordan Grace appearance. She chucked a security guard.
Like, literally chucked the guy.
Yeah,
That I don't know. That was a good 6 feet in the air. This guy had to weigh like nothing,
yeah,
or she's just
absolutely.
that strong, because he looked like he was pretty damn tall.
Oh boy, and looks like they're having Jordan Grace is having an issue with Jada Parker. And do you think we see that building up to NXT television, or do you think that's a stand and deliver type of matchup?
Parker versus Jordan.
hmm
That's what we're having next week.
Do you think that ends in a not no disqualification, no
Like, no.
contest, because they were brawling all over the arena?
So if that goes all the way to Stand and Deliver,
Mhm.
who faces Stephanie?
Why not do a triple threat? It seems like we're in the season of the triple threat right now.
I don't want them everywhere though.
It's not everywhere. It's just everywhere we see.
We're gonna have a bunch on the main roster too.
Yeah. Well, hypothetically, it looks like we might be getting Jordan versus Stephanie Vaquer for the women's championship. Do you see Jada Parker being in the ladder match as kind of like the I don't want to say the consolation prize, but as the next spot open or available.
It could change the way that I think who's going to win that then if they
Mm,
put her in there.
yeah. Again, that's the like we were saying the depth of the women's division is really going tit for tat over here
Hmm.
with again so many options, which in some cases in other brands or other companies like that's not the case.
No, like NXT, like I said, is the best women's division,
Hmm.
and they could probably do a whole show just with them.
You make a good case for it, but WWE has about 15 other shows, so let's let's focus on them first. But we had all that. Let's sidestep the women and go to one of the major talking segments. We had Trick Williams, Javon Evans, and Obafemi, and we had a confirmation of a stand and deliver match, the triple threat for the NXT Championship between all
Finally.
three of those men. And then we had a Dark State attack, not just Javon, not just Oba, but Trick Williams as well.
And then next week we're going to get all three of them against three members of Dark State.
And one of my favorite matches, the Can They Coexist tag match.
But it got me thinking,
Hmm.
what if they only attack Trick to throw everybody off the scent because everybody was saying that, oh, Trick is the leader. He's never been attacked.
Potentially, it happened with Aces and Eights and Bully Ray. I think it's well, not the wisest kind of writing, but you never know. Also, there might be potentially another person we're not really thinking of who's controlling Dark State, and that's one Jonathan Gresham.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Hmm. Because it was said that he, I believe, he was in talks for a player coach kind of role, kind of like
Hmm.
Sean Spears.
Okay. I would not be objected to that.
Yeah, and I think it just kind of like not makes sense, but it's just like it seems like Jonathan Gresham would be a good like kind of centerpiece for
Hmm.
Dark State, at least in the beginning.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. I actually would enjoy that.
Hmm.
I like Gresham. I think he's a really good wrestler too.
Yeah, we just need all of them to wear the what is it, the octopus masks?
Yep,
Yeah,
that'd be pretty sick.
just everyone just have like different octopus masks. That would be pretty dope. But we had all that, and there's we gotta talk about another big shocking thing that happened tonight in the main event that we talked about earlier. Was Sean Spears versus Ricky Saints for the NXT North American Championship. And we have a new NXT North American champion with Ricky Saints picking up the win and then being attacked by Ethan Page after the match, with Ethan Page holding up the North American Championship. So that seems to be the next direction that we have.
I still can't believe Ricky won the championship.
You want him to have a little bit of a longer
I mean, I
chase?
felt Sean Spears won the championship 4 weeks ago,
They released his championship render today.
and he's never defended the title yet.
Hmm.
I figured they would at least give him one title defense.
And they did not.
So like that's I don't know. To me, that's a little weak.
Sean Spears is pretty much his primary goal there is to elevate the talent of NXT. That's pretty much his primary goal. Is to be that player coach role.
Agreed.
Like, would I have liked a longer run from him? Absolutely. I like Sean Spears. I like Ty Dillinger. I like Gavin Spears, if you remember NXT. Not NXT, ECW. That was his other name. But he did his role, just kind of like being there, being the evil man that he is. And then just kind of went from there. And honestly, it's time to see if he's going to be added to this match or the calling are going to go in a different direction. Do you think he's going to be added to the Ethan Page, Ricky Saints thing, or do you think they're going to kind of split and do their separate thing?
I think you probably would get added to it.
So another triple threat?
Keep with the theme that's going on.
You know, it's like stand deliver, stand and deliver, featuring some triple threat. It's like tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs.
There you go.
You know, and I'm a fan of that. Have a good old fashioned stairs match. Do you remember the one and only stairs match, Scals?
No,
It was the Big Show and Eric Rowan.
wasn't that supposed to be with this stupid spider thing?
No, that was Rowan's other gimmick.
Ah,
This is when he was a veneer, and he could solve Rubik's cubes.
okay.
Yeah. The career of Eric Rowan is so interesting to me. It's fascinating. But
He's actually done a lot of different things.
he was the Rock's last match at WrestleMania for a while.
Yeah, wasn't that the night that The Rock beat all three of them real quick?
He beat Rowan in 6 seconds.
It was just Rowan.
Yeah. And then John Cena came out to make the save after the Wyatts were teasing about attacking him.
Yeah,
Good times. Good times. WrestleMania 32. Lovely WrestleMania. 10 out of 10. Would watch again. No, I wouldn't.
I was just saying. Did you just say earlier in the night that you hated that one?
That one in 34 I do not like. But yeah, we got that. We also got to talk about a fun little segment as well of the D'Angelo family.
Oh, where they had the little insight on Dark State.
Yeah, you know, and it was a fun way without Dark State themselves talking about their background, because it's like you got to have like some quick, like creative ways in order to get all four of them differentiating personalities. So I really liked what they did here. I do have questions on how they got their research. My vote is Google or Wikipedia, with an outside bet that Ash Jeeves might be the front runner. Yeah, you gotta love Ash Jeeves.
It's probably going to be Wikipedia. I would say that's probably the most likely source.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there were citations at the bottom of the of the pages. Where'd you get this info from? Oh, you know. It's like, yeah, don't worry about it.
I still think we're teasing towards Stacks turning on Tony D.
As do I. You know, and it's it's one of those end of an era type of things where it's like I'm not mad, I'm disappointed.
Mhm.
Is what it is, unfortunately. But all good things must come to an end, right, Scouse?
That is true.
All right. Do you want to do like one giant thumbs up for tonight and one giant thumbs down? What you liked, what you didn't like, or even like if you can't think of it like a thumbs down, just like a thumbs in the middle, or what you didn't think hit.
Hmm. I did like the segment with Dark State attacking the three of them.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like it made them look the strongest that they've looked so far.
Mm-hmm. I agree. That was probably my segment or moment of the night.
And for thumbs,
Yeah, thumbs eh. We'll call that thumbs eh.
the way that they had Stephanie relinquish the title.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always anticlimactic when it's like you make this historic, the first ever like double champion in NXT, and then that's how it ends. You know, like I understand, like maybe if they weren't being built up for stand and deliver, I think they would have let the double championship reign breathe a little bit more.
Right.
But because like we're trying to get a lot of people on the show, like you got to have the ladder match. Like, and I think some people will be like, oh, why don't you just do a number one contenders match? You know, but it's like Stephanie is portrayed as the double champ at that point. So you're expecting her to defend the title twice at the biggest show of the year. So it's just one of those things where it's like on paper, it might look great, but in execution, it might be more disappointing more often than not.
No, I mean they made the right choice
Mm-hmm.
in doing what they needed to do. I just didn't like the way they did it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
What were your thoughts? You agree?
Yeah, I agree with that. Just because, like, we saw this with Keith Lee. and I was like kind of disappointed because he like it was the same exact pattern too. Because Keith Lee did that double title defense against Dominic Dijakovic, and then right after that, like he vacated it, and it's like, oh, okay, but it's like you understand because they were going to, I think, Takeover 30, I believe. I believe it was Takeover 30.
I think it was the takeover.
It was with him and Karen Cross. I know that one.
I think it was the one after um, SummerSlam.
Yeah, because Keith Lee right after that got called up.
Keith Lee won, and he won it at
Great American
Great
Bash.
Man Bash. Yep.
Yeah, and I remember that because I think one of the, it wasn't Veer. I think it was the other one. Spoiled it on his Twitter feed because they taped it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was pretty funny. But
Yeah,
with
because they did the double taping that week.
yeah, but with Stephanie, it's like they're now fully behind her as probably the face of the NXT Women's Division currently, and I think like I do wonder like the Elseworld story of like what if Julia was healthy? Was the double championship match going to be the stand and deliver match, which I think was a good chance it would have been. And even
Might have
then,
been.
if Julia was healthy, would she be the one to pick up that win? Because Julia was probably she came to NXT first, and she was probably, would you say she was the more established of the two between her and Stephanie?
Yes. Yep.
Yep. So it's like it seemed like Julia would have probably won that if it happened in Stand and Deliver, but silver lining, Stephanie Vicker got a great kind of rub from it, and now I think people now are more behind Stephanie than they were previously going in, which is always the goal when you want to get into that kind of like top position.
So, speaking of Julia, what
Mhm.
if she is Stephanie's opponent at Stand and Deliver? If she's cleared, because I know she has some
Mhm.
minor injuries and
Mhm.
she had some minor visa issues, and that's
Mhm.
everything that caused her to get rid of the
Yeah,
belt.
it just really depends on how those issues get cleared up and if there's an amount of time that's logistical for her to be there.
Hmm.
And I feel like that's why they're doing the Jordan Grace and Jada Parker story right now, because they want to see like where the lay of the land is concerning Julia and the potential and the possibility of her return.
Maybe they put Julia in a ladder match and she takes that belt.
That'd be funny. Just a giant belt swap. It's kind of like when it was like Sean Razor and Diesel all held like the IC title like within like 2 years from each other.
Mhm.
And then once Diesel dropped it back to Razor, they're like, "Oh, we're getting the tag belts." I believe Sean, and this is like completely off topic, like Sean, uh, like I think he legit like every title he held, he vacated it. I think except like the European title or something, because
He never lost the belt.
he vacated the tag titles because that's when he accidentally kicked Diesel at Survivor Series '94. He never dropped the IC title like twice. Once was suspended. The other time he got beat up by the Marines. And he dropped he vacated the WWF title because he lost a smile. So I'm just saying, vacant, has Shawn Michaels' number. I'm just throwing that out there.
Interesting.
And that you see, that's the that's the kind of content we get here.
But anything else you want to touch on before we head on out? I think we did a pretty good job tonight
Yeah,
covering.
I think
all
we
of
hit
NXT.
hit. Yeah, I think we hit all the high notes, all the notes, but overall solid edition. And next week it seems like we're gonna be seeing what Dark Side has in order, what 3 members we're to see of Dark Side, and see how their synergy is as a team. And I'm curious because I have no doubt that Javon's gonna be like a great like bump and feed kind of guy for State.
Mhm.
But with Trick and Oba, I'm very curious to see how they interact with Dark State and how Dark State is it going to be like the Shield where it's like they're going to pounce on the other right as like they tag in, or is it just going to be something completely different? And that's where I'm very curious.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they can actually do in the ring because
Mhm.
it's easy to beat somebody up,
Mhm.
but it's all going to depend on how it translates into the ring.
Yeah, so it's a wait and see kind of approach, but again, I'm looking forward to it.
Where can everybody find you, Richie, as we head on out?
Let's see, you can follow me at the at symbol right below at Retold Richie Mars on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Make daily videos on TikTok every day. We just passed 10K followers, so we're keeping up that momentum and hopefully reaching 11K. And if TikTok doesn't get banned, that'd be pretty cool to reach by the end of the week.
Congratulations.
Oh,
Keep on
thank
growing over there.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm
I just said thank you.
I am Scals. You can follow me on at off the top media _ on both TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, as well as Scals24 over on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. Right now, we just have NXT on tap on Tuesdays, and then Wednesday nights has the Boom
Mm.
for our AEW show. We will be starting to ramp up stuff with WrestleMania season. I know our predictions are looking like it's going to be done on April 17th, the Thursday before. So make sure you guys mark that date down to come on back for that one. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. It was a pleasure to do a show again with you, Richie. Thank you
Pleasure.
again.
Mhm.
And we'll catch everybody else soon. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and have a great evening.
Take it easy.